It's Tuesday, and you know what that means. It's time for Power Bombed in the Pit. We're two tag team partners who love loud music, comedy, art, but most of all, we love the people who do all those things and love pro wrestling.
Welcome, marks, two-steppers, heels, crowd surfers, and all those in between to Power Bombed in the Pit.
Joining us today is Tuna Tardugno, the lead singer of an LA hardcore band called Sweat, a wrestler, a DJ, and all-around badass. She's given us some time out of her busy schedule to be here today. Thank you so very much, Tuna.
Yeah, thank you for having me on.
Of course. So Sweat, are you guys still recording your third album, or is it basically done recording?
We're done with recording. Now we just are like fine tuning, and we've gotten like the second pass of mastering done, and yeah,
Awesome.
So it's done. We just got to get the art done, and we can get it pressed. So
Fantastic.
yeah.
Was there a particular like influence or subject matter that you guys wanted to either tackle or work through, or are you guys kind of keeping all of that to your chest for now?
No, that's fine. So Justin, the guitarist, he is a total maniac, and
Yes, he is.
he is very productive, and which is great. I am not that person, so it's really hard to keep up with him. He writes like a maniac. And yeah, so for me, it's our third album. You know, it's like doing a 7-inch is easy. Doing your first album is hard, but you know, I got so much to say. By the third album, you're like, okay, what do I have to say that means anything that's not just the same stuff I've been saying for the last two albums and 2 So it was really hard for me to like, I mean, there's so much to talk about, right? Like, especially with the landscape
of now.
Yeah. But it's also like, you know, like we all get it. But so it was like hard for me because I would just like go to write lyrics and it was just like, fuck.
Oh.
It was just like, you know, so much. So this one was very, very difficult for me. Yeah, the plan was I mean, and I think Justin's been pushing it too. Like he comes from, you know, a hardcore and a metal background. Musically, what he creates, he listens to all sorts of stuff. But I think this one he tried to do like the most intentional songwriting, like via like traditional like I don't know, interesting turnarounds, and maybe thinking more with like this could be a chorus of sorts, you know, like more just like standard song template. So like that I think was a new challenge for him, which was cool. Anthony is just always perfect. He plays drums. Yeah, and so for me, I wanted to like, you know, challenge myself to write different things, but also have them like kind of all tie together. So I think most of the themes for me was like about control and power in various aspects of what's going on in the world, what's going on personally with me, what's going on, you know, in every aspect, you know, whether it be work, relationships, like ideals.
All the kind of ins and outs of life and everything that comes
living
with
in a capitalist hellscape.
Yeah, pretty much. So yeah, and we recorded with Jack Shirley at Atomic Garden, and Jack had a lot of input in terms of like he helped me a little bit with like song structure stuff. Like I would have like a wall of words, and he's like, all right, let's like thin it out here, maybe try this here, maybe try and do this here, because I, you know, when I was in the thick of it, I was just like overthinking everything, and I'm like, okay. So yeah, it was trying, but it was good. And I think this is the first time that we finished a record and I didn't have to like convince myself I liked it. Like I like immediately liked it. A lot of times I listen back and I'm like, but like this time, like, it came out good. Like I like how it came out, you know, like I'm not like overly critical of like that should be better. This should be this. This should be this. So I'm excited in that aspect. But I'm also not trying to get like ahead of myself so I don't get not well received.
Yeah, you're still kind of in that overthinking a little bit, but not as much kind of, area of it. But that's fantastic that you definitely feel like more of like, hell yeah, we got this done. I'm proud of this, as I mean, with your third album, like it's awesome to hear that you guys are there.
Third album's always kind of a weird one, like, the Beastie Boys. Like
I mean, whenever I get like,
a snapcase.
It's always, people are always classically like, oh, band's first record is their best, second record maybe. With Thin Lizzy, their like eighth record is my favorite. So record saying like first records are not good. They didn't.
Yeah, I think that first record, like I can't remember the author's name, but she had this essay where she was talking about how first drafts are always shit. And so I feel that like first albums for bands are really just kind of putting their stuff out and seeing kind of, I think, what bounces back, and then you grow and adjust and everything. Yeah.
And it's also like trying to find, like find your why and find like being able to like stay stoked and like in relationships with your band members that are like, we still want to do this together. Do we want to like directions? Do we want to, so it's cool. And like, I'm stoked that we're still going.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I am extremely excited for this record and hear what you guys put out and everything. Yeah, because we saw you earlier this year,
Cafe Colonial.
Yeah. That was so sick.
So like do you like larger venues or smaller venues?
Oh, like as a performer, smaller ones, yeah.
So I think for me, like and it's the same with wrestling, like I like intimate shows. Like I like when things are like interact with people and stuff, but it's easier. Bigger shows are easier because it's like the crowd turns into just like
see.
You don't like see people, you don't see the reactions, you don't see if they don't like it, if they do like, so it's like it's kind of like it's a lot more impersonal that way. I mean, it's sick if you look out and there's like a bunch of people, you're like, well, it's tight. But like if you're playing like a floor show, you can like literally see like, oh, that person's stoked on it, oh, that person's not feeling it, like, so it's different. Like I always prefer like floor shows in smaller venues, but even like Jack, he's toured with us a few times now, he's got this like big crazy studio and he's very in tune obviously with sound and everything, and anytime we would get to a venue at the stage, like 9 times out of 10 he'd be like, this should be a floor show, let's make it a flour show. Like,
that's awesome.
Convince the sound guy to be okay with everything on the floor. He toured Europe with us last year and he did that a few times at the venues, and some of the sound people were not happy with him.
I can imagine.
They were all very fun shows, and Jack thought it was sounding good, so it was fine.
Yeah, like when we saw you, like that was the first time that I had actually seen you guys perform, and
mine too, but I've been a fan.
But your particular stage presence is phenomenal. Like the fact that, you not only moved around on stage, but every time an opportunity lent itself, you were out there in the crowd trying to get people, moving and everything. And it was just so rad to see. Like I have definitely, as I've gotten older, prefer the smaller venues and the intimacy that comes with it, because you actually get to be with people who kind of want to be there, where it's not just, oh, well, 5 of my friends, dragged me along to this, big show or whatever. But so I definitely prefer that. And I think you guys rocked it in that kind of intimate setting.
Dude, everybody was vibing so hard. Speaking of, so what about your love for DMX? Like, I need to know about this.
Yes. I mean, she's just He's the best. He's the greatest. I think he's got a great cadence. He's funny. He's witty. His lyrics are great. I think I'm from originally from New York, and I think it's just like
Yeah,
it's
you're
unspoken
from
bond
Buffalo,
of
right?
everybody from New York that like DMX is the guy. It's like obviously there's Wu-Tang, obviously there's Big.
Yes.
DMX is what actually holds us all together. Like he was like attainable. The other two were like respected by the world, and like DMX has always been so disrespected that I think everyone in New York is like this unspoken like, no, that's the guy.
Going off of DMX and hardcore as a genre, like what exactly does hardcore speak to you in terms of a musician and as a human, kind of going through life?
I mean, I like, hey,
Like I want to talk.
yeah. She gets very jealous when I don't talk to her.
Aw.
At you, will that be acceptable to you? I mean, I have a very big chip on my shoulder with punk and hardcore in general. In terms of like, I'm very protective of it. I think it absolutely saved my life.
Still that.
A lot of addictive traits in my family. And some abuse things, and I've had like friends have abuse problems, and like I don't know, I think like I wouldn't have made it out alive if I didn't have like the group of friends I had when I was a teen, and I was like very lucky to have the bonds I had. And yeah, we like all found punk together, and like you're so dumb as a kid, and I feel like so lucky to have been able to like interact with the people I did and like learn about shit and like get out of like I don't know, like you see someone talk about it and you're like, oh, that person's cool, like what are they talking about? Oh, they're talking about like what does anarchy actually mean, not like, oh, I bought the Sex Pistols tape. What does direct action actually mean? What is like flyering at shows mean? What is like, oh, like you had this resource and you
not
helped
bombs,
thing,
like
yeah, like and it's like I had a friend who like ran a label that was like Punks Before Profit, and it's just like even like thinking like that, like just the title alone, you're like, oh yeah, like that makes sense, like put people ahead of yourself, and it's kind of like you learn things growing up, but then you see it applied in real life when you go to like shows.
Were some of those particular reasons maybe part of why you became a not only just a band member in a hardcore band, but a front person in a hardcore band?
No, I just became a front person because I'm not very good at playing instruments.
Same, I feel that.
You're a good yeller though.
Yeah, and like I like to move around and stuff. Like I grew up, I always took like dance classes growing up, so I like to perform anyways.
What kind of, if you don't mind me asking, what kind of dance?
I did jazz and hip hop.
Nice. I was ballroom, so that's pretty cool.
You like the classy version?
Yes, a little bit. But hip hop and everything is really awesome. I really like that genre.
So piggybacking off of like why you got into hardcore, but also like why did you get into wrestling? Like they both have deep roots together, which I mean Damien from Fucked Up, like it's like
Lifelong Quest, the punk wrestling connection.
Robbie Brooks.
I grew up watching wrestling. I had an uncle, my uncle Joe. He just always had it on, and he was just like obsessed, and it was just always on. So I don't remember the first time I watched it because it was always on. I loved Luna growing up. Like she's awesome.
Dude, I'm from Alabama, and she's from here too. Yeah.
Hell yeah. Yeah, I loved China. So it's just like they were just so cool, and like yeah, I always watched it. And then when I kind of, not that I stopped watching it because I got into punk, I was just out of the house a lot more with my friends. I just wasn't watching TV as much. But and then when I moved from New York to LA when I was 18, and then I didn't have a TV for a long time because I was going to school, and then
Yeah.
Yeah.
but yeah, it was always on. And even like when I kind of wasn't watching it as actively, I would go to the live shows, and it picks right back up. Like you don't really have to be up to speed with what's going on. You can figure it out.
Yeah.
But yeah, I always loved wrestling. Just yeah, as a kid, I never thought it was something I could do because like aside from like China and Jazz and uh Luna, like all of the girls were like really hot and skinny and like had these.
Yeah.
I'm like, well, that'll never be me, So I was just like, oh, so it never was, like real, like it was never like an attainable thing.
Goal.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh.
Well, what then like got you specifically like into doing wrestling actually instead of just being, a spectator?
So I went to school for animation.
That's rad.
And I went for 2 years, and then the economy blew up and I couldn't get approved for a loan to go back. And so I was like trying to make it work myself, and I had my full-time job, and then I was like going to an internship, and I was trying to take things like after work, and it's so in front of a computer, and I was just like sitting and sitting and sitting. I'm like, I don't want to be sitting for my whole 20s. Like this sucks. Like I don't want to be there. So then I was just like, I had started like casually watching it again, and like I was just like, man, like I don't know. I just like wanted to not be stationary. And so I was just thinking like I'd be sick to wrestle. And I had been watching, and so my old roommate at the time, it was my birthday's right before Christmas. So he and some of my other roommates got me they all got tickets, and we went and saw like a just live WWE event, and it was at Staples Center, and it was like I don't even remember what the main event was. I think CM Punk was in the main event. But the girls was just a battle royal, and it was so bad. And I was like watching it, I'm like, I could fucking do that. Like,
Yeah.
I could absolutely do that. They didn't do anything. Like, and it was like right before, not right before, but like a couple years before like women's wrestling really
Took
began
off.
to like get taken seriously and like respected. And so yeah, I just like was like, this sucks. Like, why is it that bad? Like it was just like, and it was like a bathroom break, and it's funny how it's like they say that on TV, but it was like legit. I'm like, this, like it was a bummer to watch, and I was like, oh, this sucks. Like it shouldn't be like that. Like, what the hell? And so I had watched that, and I got all like stoked, and I was like, went home, and I like had to finish doing animation stuff, and I'm just like in front of the computer, and I was just all like amped, and I was looking up wrestling schools, and I saw Rikishi had one, and I was just like, shit. And it was like, I think it was like $3,000 or something. And I was like, I don't have that. I'll have to save up. And then I told my uncle, and he got my grandma to like take out of some of her retirement to give me money.
Hell yeah, grandma.
Yeah.
Mama's awesome.
So yeah, they like split it with me, and it was sick. And so yeah, I just went. I didn't really tell many people about it because I didn't want to get talked out of it, or like I didn't want anyone to comment on it. I was like, I just want to go do this thing.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
The person I was dating at the time, I didn't even tell him about it until I came home.
Like
I was like, I just did this thing. He's like, what the fuck? And I'm like, I just wanted to, I don't know what it was gonna be like. I didn't know if it was like gonna be a scam or what. Actually, right before that, so who I did talk to is I was listening to Stone Cold's podcast like religiously. And he's like, oh, if you have like comments or questions, and he would always say his email address. And so I messaged him, and I was like, hey, I'm thinking about going to wrestling school. Do you have any advice? Do you have any input? I saw Rikishi has one in the Valley, and he responded. And I also was like, oh, by the way, my band is playing, because I had another band at the time. And I was like, my band is playing. Yeah. And he responded, and he's like, oh, where's the show at? He's like, in like, just make sure you do your research with wrestling schools. There's a lot of hacks out there. And so like, whoa, like I can't believe he responded.
That's dope.
Yeah. So I just went, and it was sick, and I got hurt a lot. A lot, a lot. When I first started, Gangrel was also one of the trainers,
Oh,
and then he
nice.
left maybe like a year into me training. But yeah, so it was Rikishi, Gangrel, and Black Pearl, Reno, on Hawaii. Uh,
That's
yeah, and it's crazy, especially now, like how successful all of the Samoan family has been, the Fatus and the Anawais. My first match ever was like maybe a month into me training, which like you don't have a match a month out.
Right?
They like paired people up one day in training. They're like, you have a match, you have a match. And I was like heading towards the bench to like watch. And they're like, no, go with Wolfie. Wolfie is Simone Werewolf, Jacob Fatu. So he was my first match. And I was like, what? I don't know what to do. And they're like, just listen, he'll take care of you. And he's the fucking best. Like he is truly like, every time I see him on screen, I like get teary eyed because I'm like, man, he deserves this so much. Like he's so good. He's such a good person. He's such a good wrestler. Like he's just the fucking best. And like I'm so stoked that he's like getting the push that he's fucking getting finally. Yeah. And then fast forward a couple years, Solo started training because he went to college and he was playing football. And so he came back to train after he'd wrapped up with that stuff. In his first match in front of people, not his first match, I had this clarified recently. It was, we were doing like streaming matches for a while on Twitch. So he did have a match on Twitch, but there was no live people there. So his first match in front of live people was a mixed tag, and I was his first live match. So it's like wild to be like, Jacob was my first match, and first match. Now they're like main eventing together. It's so sick. It makes me so happy.
That's fucking rad.
Yeah.
How do you feel about AEW? Are you a fan? Or?
Yeah, I mean, I think there's things about it that I'm not crazy about, but I think ultimately everyone seems to have a lot of freedom, which is rare. And it seems like they take mental health a lot, like very seriously, which I think is really sick, especially in wrestling. They take political stances, which I think is really cool.
Dude,
especially in wrestling.
Brody in the ballish eyes.
Oh yeah, Brody was. I also he started training at the same time. Yeah, I knew him from before, and he like we both just like started, and we like when we first were starting. Would you learn? Would you learn? Would you? It's like
that's rad.
To see him at the level that he's at is really sick. Yeah, and he's just a machine. And I think it's sick that he's using his platform, like whether it be his band or his wrestling, to like he's always doing benefits. It's sick. He's always down. And I think he's a good dude across the board. He's a great dad. He's fucking great husband.
Dude, it got his little boy to sing on Mommy. I think it was Mommy. Can I go kill tonight on the Twitch record? I was like, oh, that's so good.
As an indie wrestler, sometimes you're put in kind of these precarious situations that you may or may not have been aware of before the match. For example, like the match with Priscilla, what is the thought process or the planning stage between wrestlers as you all prepare for, the matches, or is that kind of just mostly up to creative?
Yeah, I mean,
that's a big
it's funny because that was very much consented on both sides. We had talked about that. So that whole thing was kind of wild. It was in a bar and it's 21 and over, and it was part of Suburban Fight, which had turned into Brain Slam. Mm-hmm. And it was no ring, no rules. So it's like no holds barred.
Yeah.
Non-traditional places to bump, so you're like trying to think, like when you go into those circumstances, you're thinking like, okay, how can we tell a story? How can we be safe? And how can we not do the obvious things that every other match is going to do?
Yeah.
You know, because it's like everyone sees the bar and they're like, there's a flat surface. We can do something there. There's the stage. There's a flat surface. We can do something there. There's that, you know, so it's like everyone kind of has the same 3 or 4 targets depending on the venue. And then there's like some other things. And especially with indie shows, like, you know, you do try and do the courtesy of like kind of making the rounds, being like, hey, are you guys going to use this thing? We're going to do this. And, you know, just to like talk amongst each other to make sure like not everyone's doing the same thing.
Yeah.
But she came in with that idea of the tampon spot. She was like, hey, I've always wanted to do this thing.
Diabolical.
I wasn't super familiar with her. Like when I found out I was wrestling her, I like, you know, looked her up a little bit. And I was like, oh, she hits hard. She does this stuff, but she did a lot of like rope stuff. So I'm like, I'm sure like she'll be fine. But you know, it's always when people are like high flyers or do a lot of stuff with the ropes, when you get put in these like no ring scenarios, you're like, okay, well, like, can we be creative with things? Like, what can we do? And this and that. So she is like, you know, I was like, well, what's your character? And she's like, oh, I'm just like dirty, bad girl, you know, this, that. And I was like, okay, so that makes sense. And at first I was like, no, hell no, I'm not doing that. And then I like thought about it more and more. And I was like, you know, it'll get a reaction. It's safe. As long as we build up to it and work out of it, I think it makes sense. And she's like, I was not thinking viral. I should have viral. In my brain, I was not like, this is going to go viral. We're going to blow up. I was just thinking like, there's not going to be kids around. No, I was thinking like, there's no children. So it's not like, that's not a thing. It's 21 and up. People are like drinking and it's safe and no other match is going to do it, you know? So I was like, no, that actually makes sense. I was like, and then like you get cocky and then I turn around and I like beat shit out of you with a chair. And then, you know, I win because you got like, I was like, so we both will go over because like you'll get the huge thing, but then I'll like get the revenge. And like, you know, we made it into a story and I wasn't on Twitter at the time. And it's funny because on that same show, Darby and Brody had a match and they were like, we're going to go viral today. We're going viral today. They got a lime scooter. They got a lime scooter and Darby rode it and Brody clotheslined it and he did a flip bump off of the thing. And they were like, oh, that'll for sure go viral. Like everyone hates those things right now.
Nope. Not today.
So we had our match and like, you know, they had the reaction it had. It didn't go viral for almost a week. So, you know, we had the match, whatever. People were like, that was crazy. That's it. We go in the back. Brody's like, what the, like, I've never heard males scream that high pitched before. He's like, what the fuck? Like, I didn't even see the spot, but I heard it. And like, you know,
that's awesome.
so then I was at work. I think that match was on a Sunday, maybe. I was at work on a Saturday. And Priscilla texts me and she's like, hey, dude, sorry. And I was like, what?
What do you mean?
It's like, oh, have you not seen? And I was like, what? She's like, Twitter. And I'm like, and I like, go on Twitter and it's Jim Ross. And he just reposted the video and he wrote disgusting or embarrassing or something. And I was like, oh my God. Like, you know, because it's like, it's Jim Ross. He's like,
JR's that, you know, big guy, you know, it's the big
so that kind of leads into the next question I was going to ask you. Like, how did it feel, like the whole Twitter response? Like, you know, you've got Mr. Hater, Jim Cornette on one side, and then you have super nice guy Tommy Dreamer on the other side. Like,
I mean, it's wild to be. It was crazy on so many levels. It was crazy because I'm like, all these people, nobody knew about me yesterday. Everyone knows about that's weird. There was like people that had like hour-long YouTube shows just talking about it. I'm like, what do you must have something better you can be doing with your time than just stupid. And then it was on like Yahoo. Not Yahoo. It was on TMZ. It was on like the Yahoo News page, but it was on TMZ. And they like had a segment about it. And like the dudes on the show were insisting, they're like, that was real tampon. She really took that out. And the girls are like, that was not real. They're like, yes, it was. They're arguing on TMZ.
What flavor Kool-Aid was it?
Yeah, like it's just like, but yeah, so it was just like, it was funny, but it was, at first I was really bummed because it's like, uh, just before that, I had gotten some extra work with WWE, like Rikishi got a handful of the students. It was when Survivor Series was in LA, and it was like NXT, Survivor Series, Raw, and SmackDown. So it was 4 nights of extra work. And one of those nights, we all had tryouts. And that match happened a month after. So, like, it didn't go as I would have hoped it would have went the tryout, but it was like such a like elevating experience, and you like learn so much, and you're like, oh hell yeah, and like it like gives you steam, and you're like, this is what I have to work on, this is where we're gonna go. So like to be like, okay, like like you kind of see like there's your goals, and like that's what you're working towards, and like okay, now I know all this stuff, and then to go into a match, and then to have like all of these really like elevated people in the wrestling community be like, you guys are trash, and like Gail Kim, like Jim Ross, like of course I have respect for, but also he has a lot of really trash politics, so I don't like super respect how he feels about women, so like it sucks that someone with his like respect would say that, but I'm also like not surprised someone would say that. Gail Kim responded and was like, oh, this is trash, and that like broke my heart. So I'm like, oh, basically saying how like there was no psychology, but I'm like, there was though, like you only saw a part, like there was. We did,
you literally saw like 30 seconds.
So, like it was, that was a bummer, like stuff like that bummed me out, but it was just a lot. Like I just had to go private because it was like my phone was just like beep 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 beep, and everyone's like, hey, like everyone like was entitled to access to me. And I'm like, who the fuck are you people? Like, like, so it felt like, I don't know, it felt like vultures, and I'm like, I'm a person. Like, I'm not like I'm not this like product that you can just be like, give me this thing. I need this answer right now. Like it felt that I didn't like the like disrespect aspect of it, but I liked how many people did come out and defend us. And I think Priscilla like took it and ran, and she like did a bunch. She did like I forget what it said, but it was like it might have just said Priscilla Kelly in blood, and it was like she donated all the profits to like a women's shelter, and like she did a bunch of cool shit. But yeah, it just like it kind of broke me for a little bit, and then tying it all into Sweat, it's funny because like my immediate circle is like familiar enough with wrestling, but they don't care about wrestling. Like they're like, oh, that's a thing Tuna does, it's funny. So like my immediate circle didn't think it was a big deal. I'm like, yo, like this is like, I feel like, crazy. No. And they're all like, who cares? It's just the internet. I'm like, no, but this is like actual people in wrestling. They're like, who cares? It's just the internet. It doesn't matter. And I'm like, no. And I'm like, stressed the fuck out. And they're like, Hill, why are you talking about that? So I'm like, go, there's like, like it was insane. So that happened. And then, because it was right around Christmas time, I was like worried that Rikishi was going to be really upset with me. Cause like I was like, my name is going to be tied to you. You just got me the tryout. Like, so I called him and apologized. And he's like, oh, you don't have to apologize. He's like, I know, like, he's like, just, just fly low. He's like, do your thing, keep working on your craft. And like, he's like, I know who you are, and I know what kind of wrestler you are, and I know what kind of person you are. And like, I know you weren't doing that for a quick, like, attention grab,
Says the man who put his butt in people's faces.
I mean, he would absolutely. So yeah, he's like a dad. He's the best. So that match happened right before the match happens, like a day or two. Justin had messaged me from Sweat, Graf Warlock, and the singer of Graf Warlock couldn't make a tour that was like 2 weeks out. It was only 3 shows. It wasn't a tour. It was just a weekend thing. It was on the East Coast. And so Justin calls me and he's like, hey, do you want to fill in for Graf in a couple weeks? I'm like, what? And he's like, and it's like, he got me because he's like, we're doing Boston, New York, and Providence. And I'm like, any chance I go to New York, I'm going to. So I'm just like, is Kyle cool with it? He's like, I didn't ask him yet, but he can't go.
He's just going to be okay with it.
I was like, well, I don't want to beef with Kyle. I love Kyle. So he's like, well, let's have a practice first and see if you even work. And then I'll handle it with Kyle. And Kyle and I talked about it. Anyways, he gave me 19 songs to learn. So this is like 2 days before the match. So I'm like, starting to listen to graphs, starting to be in like graph line. We have the match, goes fine.
Yeah.
Nobody gets hurt. That whole week, I'm just like knee deep in like, I gotta learn all these fucking songs. There's so many songs. And then like it goes viral, and I'm just like, ugh.
I don't need this.
Oh my God. And then I put all my stuff on private, and we go play the shows, and like quite a few people were like, were you? And I'm like, what?
I
What are you
mean,
talking about?
We didn't announce that I was doing it. So like people came to the show and they thought I was just the merch girl. And then it would start and I was singing and everyone's like, what the hell? But it was cool. But yeah, so that whole thing happened. And then Madison, who's the guy that would book Suburban Fight and Brain Slam, he booked Sound and Fury. He's in that band Fury. He's insane. He doesn't all the time. He was like, can we please book a rematch? Can we please book it? Like, we need to strike one. I'm like, I don't know. This is stressing me out. And he's like, please. I'm not trying to hound you, but please, like, let's fucking like cash in. I'm like, he's like, it'd be good for everybody. You know this. And I'm like, I know, but I'm so stressed. So I finally agree. Like it takes me a couple weeks to agree. Mm-hmm. And he's like, come on, like, let's do it while everyone's talking about it.
Yeah.
And so I agree. We have the match set. And I was in training and I broke my leg.
Oh
yeah. No. I didn't know it was for that match. Oh, that's so
sad. So, and it was stupid. It was just like miscommunication. It was with someone that I like trained with all the time. That's really good, that I like totally trust. And it was just, I heard something else that he called and I went one way, he went the other. He landed on my leg and and I mean, it was fine. And we did have a rematch, but it did lose a little bit of steam by the time we got back together. We were talking about the potentially doing Tuna PK3 now that she's back on the indies.
We'd be there.
Totally.
We'll see. But yeah. But speaking, you started off about like the consent thing, and if you know whether or not going into it, and like that was planned, that was talked about, that was, I did have a match once, and it was, I don't remember, I think it may have been a mixed tag or something, or maybe like 3-on-3, but it ended up being run in by the Samoan Dynasty, and I ended up getting a stink face, and that was not agreed upon before. And I mean, that is the art of listen to the crowd, and like, what do they want, and let things simmer, and like, so it's like it is funny because by no means am I trying to be like, I didn't consent to that and that wasn't okay. Like, but it was something like that. You would assume before it happens, like, oh, she knows it's coming, and like it was all called in the ring, and it was all just like, let's listen to the crowd. And there's like this one guy that everyone universally hated, so like we were all just like, oh yeah, Daquan's gonna get the stink face. And so Gigi had us both set up, and like he pointed at Daquan, everyone's like, yeah, and they pointed at me and everyone's like, yeah, and I'm just like, and I got the stink face.
Yeah.
Everyone, when I went in the back, everyone's like, what an honor. I'm like, yeah.
Why don't you go out there and you get that stink face? Compare some notes.
It was good though. Quite funny.
That's awesome.
So I know that it's late and you probably got things to do early in the morning, so let's like end on like a funny note,
kind
like
of silly questions. So
have you ever played any venue that like you thought was haunted?
Or that just gave you some creepy, spooky vibes when the moment you kind of walked in?
I don't think so. I mean, I don't ever really like, I'm sure that things are haunted and I'm sure ghosts exist, but I've never like been like, I feel a presence here, like I've never had that. I've had other people tell me about it and I'm like, oh, that makes sense, but I've never
like you yourself felt
I mean, there's definitely been like weird, but like we played this one spot in, oh God, I don't remember. Darmstadt, maybe? No, I don't remember. Somewhere in Germany.
Okay.
It was the I think it was the third show we had on that tour. I can look it up and message you where it was because I can't remember for the life of me.
No worries.
Fine.
I'm not good with names, so you're good.
Also, like, when you hear, I had never toured Europe. The boys all have, so they knew what we were getting into. When you hear squat, you're like, oh, like they were like, oh yeah, some squats will sleep out. I'm like, ew, is it gonna be just like beer all over the floor and bugs everywhere?
Oh,
like,
God.
oh. And like it's not like that at all in Europe. It's
Okay.
super nice. But there was this one venue and it was like a room, and then there was like a little like I don't know, loft built with a couch on it. There was just like all these little rooms everywhere. Like,
Huh.
and then there was like a kitchen, and then there was a place for bands to stay, and then there was like secret bathrooms and another kitchen. Like so like that felt a little like, what else goes on here? Who else is here?
Yeah.
Who's around?
Kind of
this
got
place?
that, in the back of your head, like,
Yeah.
what am
And
I
then
walking into?
it was cool. And then we played this other place in uh oh man.
No, you're fine.
But we I think it was in Netherlands, and Vera something Vera no, Vera was the name of it. I don't remember. It was like Vera Club or Vera House or something. But it was built in like the 1500s or the 1400s or something. Yeah, it was crazy. And they had like this wall detailing how many bands had played there and what bands. And it's like the band like history started in like 1860. This like
What?
group played here. Yeah, like it was crazy. And then like Ramones played there and stuff. And there was like a big room, and then there was like this little bar cave thing, but it was all like stonework, and it was like low ceiling, and that was awesome. I could see that being haunted.
Yeah, or at least
haunted vibes, but it was just like spooky castle vibes.
Yeah. No, that's rad. So if you could work on one song with any particular musician, now living or dead, doesn't matter, who might that be and why?
Probably Phil Lynott from Thin Lizzy. He's just like he's so good at putting a groove into like hard songs, which is like really hard to do without it sounding cheesy. His lyrics are really clever and witty. And he just his timing is so perfect. I would also, though, I think there's two. My other one would be Didi Ramone, because he's such an idiot, but he writes like that's his language. Like that's like
yeah.
And he writes them so fast. He's like, yeah, whatever. Like this is like that's all his brain works for, and it's amazing. Like
smoking on Chinese rocks.
Yeah, he's so good. Even when he was out of Ramones, he was still writing for them. Like he's just
the King DD or
Didi King.
rap album.
Right. Okay, man. Oh man.
Concerning like if you had a dream match to wrestle against somebody, who would it be? Like single, tag, any gender, whatever. Like
your particular just dream match. If you have,
I mean, I always, of course, I would just think about women's matches because that's generally who I would get paired against. But I would love to have another match with Jacob. That would be awesome because he's so easy. He's so light. That's what we call a night off. Like you just don't have to do much. But no, the women's roster right now on both
companies
the
and
big
sides,
companies are like so fucking stacked. I mean, I've worked a few of them. Like I worked Willow. I love Willow so much. I've been able to have 2 matches with her, and
fucking rad.
She's so fucking great. She's so sweet. She's so strong. She's so smart. She is awesome. That was so great to work with her. I would love to work with her again. I would love to work with Bianca.
Ooh. Okay.
I mean, it's hard to say any of like the top girls I not want to work. Like obviously Charlotte, obviously Maria, like of course but I think Bianca is really like the first match I saw her in, even though she wasn't as comfortable in the ring as she is now, like I was like, oh yeah, like she just got it. Bria, I actually haven't really come around to until like I feel like she got her swing this year.
Yeah.
You know, like she, obviously like she was good, she was talented, she was huge, she was ripped, but I was like, I wasn't like
There's
behind her
something
watching
missing.
matches.
Yeah.
Like she could execute everything well. She could sell,
Mhm.
like she did all the things right. I was like, yeah, it's just kind of like there. But I feel
Yeah.
like she now has like everything working for her. Like she's there now. Like I feel
Yeah.
like the last two big pay-per-view matches she's had, like some WrestleMania and the Evolution match she just had, are
Mhm.
like 10 out of 10, A plus, like so great, you know. And but I think it's because she was with Bianca and Io, you know, so I think it's like
Yeah.
really good chemistry. I really like Julia. I think she would be so sick
Ah,
to do stuff with.
yeah.
Um, Obviously, if China was still around, I would have killed to have a match with China back in the day.
Do you know about the whole China ceremony connection?
Oh yeah,
Uh, and I
it's
found that
yeah,
out. It was like that's so crazy that Anthony's dad was her manager, even though,
What happened happened.
yeah. I mean, you know, addiction, man, it sucks.
Yeah,
It's a disease.
it
yeah.
most definitely is.
But yeah, China's so cool. And she's vegetarian too, which I very much respect. I love that.
Yeah. Okay. Well, and lastly, Tuna, again, thank you so very much for chatting with us today. It's been awesome to actually have a cool ass fucking conversation with you because we only got to do it just a little bit after the show back in January. But do you have any shameless plugs that you'd like, to give the listeners about things that are coming up, some shows or anything like that?
Yeah, I mean, I think if you don't follow me, my personal Instagram is Tuna Teeth, and the band is Sweat_Rockers. We will have a new record coming out, hoping for October, might be November, before the end of
Okay.
the year for sure.
Yeah.
We have a little mini tour coming up in August. We're gonna go Minneapolis to New York. We're playing Fest in October in Gainesville.
Ooh.
Yeah, and that's, we have some other things in the work, but nothing solid yet. But yeah, hopefully we get to do, you know, some record release shows up north, up in the Bay Area. Yeah,
Well, if you do, we will be there
Yes,
for sure.
whether it's San Francisco or SAC, we will
hell yeah.
definitely be there. But yeah,
We're excited to hear the new record.
yes.
Thank you.
Look forward
Yeah,
to it.
And
thank you
hope
guys for
y'all
having me
guys
on.
have a great tour and be safe out there, y'all.